What's going on, guys? We're Langley United and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be covering a phenomenon known as the domino effect. For those of you who haven't heard of the domino effect, it's defined as a cumulative effect produced when one event initiates a succession of similar events. This can often start with a small, mundane, insignificant event and build up to larger and larger, more significant events. It means that one very important instance can be traced back to something minute.
And so in this video, we're going to look at an example of that in football. So of course, a big disclaimer here is that this theory is bound by speculation, so nothing is concrete. Of course, time travel isn't real, so we can only make assumptions. So to begin the story, we're going to have to go back to the end of the 98-99 season. At the very foot of the Division 3 table, we'll find Carlisle United, who are in a bit of a predicament. Not only does it look like they're going to face relegation to non-league, but they don't even have a goalkeeper. So they decide to make an emergency loan deal with Swindon Town for goalkeeper Jimmy Glass. He only ended up playing 3 games for Carlisle, the last of which was a home game against Plymouth Argyle, which Carlisle needed to win. They also had to hope that relegation rival Scarborough wouldn't beat Peterborough United. However, with only 10 seconds left of their game, both games were 1-1. But Carlisle have a lifeline, a corner. As with any last-minute corner, the goalkeeper comes up. The initial header is saved by the Plymouth goalkeeper, but then Jimmy Glass hits it on a half volley and it hits the back of the net. Before the referee can even blow the whistle, hundreds of Carlisle United fans storm the pitch and surround the goalkeeper. At the end of Scarborough's game, Scarborough had done enough to avoid relegation, but with this late goal from Carlisle United, unfortunately they were relegated, and Jimmy Glass had saved Carlisle. But this one goal doesn't just stop there. Due to the relegation suffered by Scarborough, as well as a plethora of other difficulties, Scarborough eventually folded in the mid-2000s, which means they're no longer even a club. Carlisle have since seen relegations and promotions between the different tiers, but thankfully they didn't reach the demise that Scarborough saw. So far we can see that this one goal has caused the entire demise of one club and the survival of another. But the title says Leicester, so where did Leicester come into this? So the manager at the time was Nigel Pearson. He was appointed midway through Carlisle's season, and he was the one who ultimately decided to sign Jimmy Glass on loan. That game would actually be the final game for both Pearson and Glass at Carlisle, but Pearson managed to build up his managerial career following that. Perhaps with his efforts of keeping the Cumbrians in the Football League, Pearson was able to build a positive reputation, and he ended up being appointed by clubs like Stoke, West Brom, and even Newcastle. However, these were more minor roles. It wasn't until 2008 when he was appointed the first team coach at Leicester City. At the time of his appointment, Leicester were relegated to the 3rd tier for the first time in their history. Pearson was given the job of bringing them back up to the Championship. He did so, and the season after, he even managed to lead them to a playoff position. However, due to disagreements with Leicester's chairman, he ended up leaving the club at the end of that second season. However, after a new chairman had come in 2011, Pearson was encouraged to come back to Leicester. He had a few positive years with Leicester, and in 2014, he managed to lead them to the top of the Championship table, where they'd be promoted back to the Premier League. Despite being bottom of the Premier League by Christmas in 2014, Pearson managed to steer them to 14th place. This late climb up the table is known as one of the greatest escapes in football history. Despite being sacked for outside reasons, he did have a positive reputation with Leicester. He was credited by many journalists and even Riyad Mahrez for building a team that was able to survive relegation from the Premier League. And as we know, the season after, Leicester went on to defy even more odds, 5,000 to 1 to be exact, by winning the Premier League for the first time in their history. However, this wouldn't have happened if Pearson hadn't kept them up the season prior, which wouldn't have happened if he hadn't had a positive reputation with other clubs, which wouldn't have happened if he didn't keep Carlisle in the Football League a decade earlier, which would not have happened had Jimmy Glass not scored that fateful goal to keep them in the league.
And with that comes the end of the video, guys. We've been Langley United and we hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future content.